Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Teacher Tuesday number 3, I think. So in this video, I am going to be talking about what it has been like teaching from home with coronavirus and the pandemic and what that has been like for me as a first-year teacher. So, like so many other teachers and people out there in the world, my whole world got shifted upside down about mid-March, which is when my school decided to shut down because of coronavirus. Now, it was Friday the 13th, and unfortunately, I was not at school our last day because I had actually taken that day for personal reasons, so I didn't get to say goodbye to my kids in person, which it stinks. But at that time, we also thought that we would be coming back after a 2-week break, 1 week being actually off because of coronavirus and the second week being off because of our spring break. Then we thought we would all come back, which I think a lot of people hoped we would. So for those first few weeks, even like a week after our spring break, we were just kind of in limbo, which I think a lot of people were like, hey, when are things going to go back to normal? And as we all know now, they just kind of didn't. So the first few weeks were weird. I was just at home. I was trying to keep myself busy, kind of enjoying it like a spring break. I went up to Washington, did a lot of wedding stuff up there. But I missed my kids and I wanted to be back in the classroom. I mean, I'm trying to finish up my first year teaching, and this is not how anybody wants to finish up a year of teaching. So back in March, it was like, oh, cool, kind of like spring break early. As bad as that sounds, it was like, okay, I think we're all exhausted, but after spring break was over and we couldn't go back, it was like, wow, this stinks. Like, I want to go see my kids. So we had to come to the realization that yes, just like most other people out there, we would be finishing the rest of the school year online. And for me, what that has looked like is a lot of Zoom chats to actually get in contact with my students. I do Zoom chats on Mondays and on Fridays at 5 p.m. because that seems to be when most of my kids are coherent and excited enough and their parents are home, which, is important. So I do 2 Zoom chats a week. They're not teaching. I am not teaching my kids during these Zoom chats. I think that'd just be too much for them. I am second grade, so they're kind of in between, but I just feel like that would just be too overwhelming for me and for them. And technology never works correctly. Let's just be honest. It never works. It can be great sometimes, but when you really need it to pull through, it's not going to. So I do these Zoom chats. We talk about how our weekend was. We share things with each other like riddles and stuffed animals and drawings and things like that. And then we play some games now. So it's just kind of a way to connect with each other, focus on our social and emotional learning and those needs that we have. And then on top of my Zoom chats, my kids do have assignments. Now, of course, they're not technically graded, but I am checking each week to see what work they're getting done and turned in, because if they all of a sudden just stop doing work, that's a red flag, and I need to reach out to the family and say, hey, how are things going? What can I do to help you? Things like that. So for assignments, what I do is I put together basically a PowerPoint presentation on Google Slides each week. And I'll show you images. I put together a Google slide each week, and it has slides for every activity that students have to do each day. And I color code the slides, so Monday is normally red, and then Tuesday is orange, and then Wednesday is yellow, Thursday is green, and Friday is blue or purple, depending on how I'm feeling about the rainbow that week. So that kind of tells students, you need to do everything that's in red on Monday. And it says like Monday schedule, and then it walks them through. Go to your Common Core stuff, then do your daily journal, then do your math, then do your break, then do your art, or whatever we're doing. Now, I am having them do math every day, and what that includes is they watch 2 videos, they have some practice problems, and then they take a tiny 5-question quiz. It's called a quick check, just to help me see how they're doing, so that way I have some sort of grid to kind of go off of, because if they're just going 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, then I know how they're doing. I mean, I'm not grading it, but I want to be able to see, are you understanding, or are you going to need a lot of help next year? So that's what they're doing for math every day. For writing, they have a daily journal response that they do every single day, and it's asked them to do at least 3 sentences, which sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't. It's just, how it goes. And every day I just have a different question that they are responding to. And then on certain days, they're doing a Common Core lesson, so things like needs and wants, or how to help your neighbor, or jobs. Like, it's our language arts Common Core units. I'm still using them. One of my lovely colleagues has made videos for a lot of these lessons, so I am using her videos. So they are mainly just watching her videos most of the time and like doing a activity with her in the video, and they're not really turning anything into me. And then other days they are doing a spelling activity, so they're coming up with more words that follow a spelling rule, or they're writing some sentences with their spelling words in them. So those are kind of my like language arts type things that we're doing, and math. And then I rotate between giving them science activities and art activities to do, just as an extra thing to make it feel more like school and for them to have something different to do. And then I sandwich in between all of this 1 or 2 Go Noodle videos that I actually paste into the presentation, so that way they can do those, which I think are doing. I have no idea, but it's just for fun, just so that way their parents aren't like, how do I give them a break? Well, like, I'm building it in for you. So I think I covered everything that I'm giving them each week. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I try not to overwhelm them very much with what they're actually doing. So I send them this Google slide, I send it to the parents on Class Dojo, and I post it on our Google Classroom every Sunday night or Monday morning for that whole entire week, so they can access the whole thing all at one time. As the week goes on, I pull out my little check sheet that I have and I check off who has done what assignments, or at least turned them in. That just kind of lets me see exactly who's actually doing work and who hasn't turned in anything in 3 days. Of course, I'm not actually grading anything, but that's how I'm at least keeping track. This last week, instead of giving them their standard assignments, we actually had them doing a project at home where they had to come up with a good or service, make, like a poster, or make a prototype of their good, and a poster to sell to each other. And normally this is a project that we would have done at school. Of course, I've never done it before, but apparently it's one thing that the kids just absolutely love doing. And my kids, they actually did a fantastic job. They were selling pet rocks and lawn work and washing cars and notebooks and squishies and friendship bracelets and planes and boats and cars and all sorts of cool stuff. So that went really well. So this last week, that was the only assignment they had, was to make sure they were totally prepared for our virtual market day that we had this last Friday. So I think that was a nice break for them. And then this week I've actually toned down their assignments. So it's mainly just their daily journals, their math, and then I think art. I think I toned it down quite a bit just because we are entering our last couple weeks of school, and I want them to have quality work being turned in, not as much as quantity anymore. And I am using that right now. I mean, I think we're all just kind of doing the best that we can with what we have, and so that's what I've been doing, using the tools that I have taught my kiddos before we left school. Thank goodness I actually went through this whole entire unit with them on how to use Google Docs and Google Slides and all that stuff. So they were actually quite well versed in it, which has worked, very well for me. Now, to keep them motivated, I have been doing these personalized postcards from me that they get in the mail if they get all of their work done. I am a couple weeks behind on sending my postcards, but that's because I ran out of ink. So this is the one from a couple weeks ago. I think this is my practice one, so it's not perfect, but it's a picture of my cute little darling Oliver, and he's asking for some chimkin while sitting inside of a grocery bag, and it says, Oliver says good job, and I got some cute little paw prints, and I printed these all at home, bought the cards on Amazon, printed this side as well, which has, the standard address lines, the stamp spot, and the area for a message. So that is what I have been sending my kiddos when they get all of their work done, as a little bit of incentive for them. And then last but not least is communication with the parents and the kiddos. Mainly I've been using Class Dojo just because it's so quick and easy. I've done some phone calls or Zoom calls if I needed to, but that's really what I've been doing to get in communication with them. So yeah, it is what it is right now. We're almost wrapped up. This is our third to last week this week, so I think it's going to be a lot of just kind of hanging in there the last couple weeks, but that's what it's been like for me so far. And yeah, in my next video I'm going to be talking about my room move that I did and my room layout. In the next one after that, So I do have a lot of like more centered teacher videos coming out. I promise it's not just all going to be coronavirus and craziness. It's just that's what we're living in right now. So if you enjoyed, please hit that like button and the subscribe button to help support my channel, and I will see you in the next Teacher Tuesday video. Bye!